Welcome back to Business Balls and Banter, and today we are joined by the hilarious, funny, down to earth,
I'm glad you think so.
Misfit Maw, Mhairi. Thank you so much for coming on.
Thanks so much for having me. It's a real privilege. I'm buzzing to be here. So thank you.
I'm so buzzing to have you.
I know, and I think the full male and female population of Scotland will know who you are for various different things.
I don't know. I don't
Oh,
know if
no,
that's
absolutely.
true, but I think when you're on TikTok, there is quite a lot of people
You're a
that do
celeb.
know you more so than anywhere else, I think.
Do you get that when you're now like going down the street, like people saying, "Oh, are you the Misfit Maw?"
Oh, they don't ask me. They just go, Misfit Maw, down Argyle Street or Buchanan Street. Which is fine. I don't mind saying hello at all. But yeah, and I think that is down to TikTok. It doesn't matter where we go. And they say to Keith, I'm a big Bobby. And thankfully, he knows that's his nickname. So he's happy to say hello and whatever as well. So, but it's always lovely. People just want to say hello and I'm fine to say hello. It's not it's not the end of the world to say hello.
But I think I touched on this as well. Like, you can be big on TikTok, you can be big on everything. And I wouldn't necessarily say the term influencer, but for you are definitely, for me, the comfort creator. Like, I will stop to watch your videos because we don't know if it's a hilarious story, we don't know if it's something serious, or it was like one of your podcasts or anything along those lines, but it just makes you stop and go, I can't wait to watch that. And it's just a really nice feel good
that is
TikTok,
lovely
I think, which
thing
is
to
quite
see.
They're
rare
relatable,
sometimes.
that's the thing. It's funny because it's relatable, and although sometimes your stories are stories, everyone can relate to what some of the things you say.
I think people know when it's a story though, because it's the McGoverns or Davy McGlump. Well, I hope people know. I have shared on Instagram and in the comments of TikTok that these people aren't real, but sometimes I don't, and I just think, no, just let people wonder. Because like, as I said before we even started recording, Christine McGovern is now a known search on TikTok. And people are looking for the family on Facebook.
So funny.
It's wild because people love the gossip.
Yeah.
But I don't see myself as an influencer. I always say that. But I know that I have to accept that I am. But I don't approach life as, I'm a big influencer. And I don't have the aesthetic for it either. I think that to myself, I'm not a beautiful influencer. And to me, that's what I think and see when I think of the word influencer.
Yeah.
But also it's not a full-time, it's not even a job really for me. It's just a wee passion project, just a wee bit on the side,
And how did you actually get into it?
So it began on Instagram, actually. So what I share on TikTok now was always what I shared on Instagram stories, always. And it began about 8 years ago. Would that be right? 8 years ago on Instagram. And what it was that motivated me, and I was a nervous wreck. Like, I didn't want to. I know what people mean when they say, I can't talk to my camera. I know what you mean. I actually had hypnotherapy for my public speaking.
Yeah.
So I know how people feel about it. But what really got on my goat was, at the time, the peachy, perfect Instagram family images. Right, so
I know what you mean.
It doesn't really exist as much now, but it was that peachy tone, like that seems to stick out in my mind. Beautiful families, hundreds of bairns, and husband and wife, beautiful, and just looking like something out of a storybook. And I would think, that's fucking not life. That is not life. I've got one Wayne, and I've struggled to, hold my life together, and you're posing with your 6 Waynes and your dog and your cat and whatever else you've got and your husband, and it looks absolutely
And they're all
beautiful.
smiling at the same time.
And even the baby at 6 months is staying already. So that is the God's honest truth. That was what motivated me. I was like, no, fuck this shit. I am going on to social media to share exactly what life is like. So it was always like, that kind of view that I had. And it was just my name. It was just my personal account at the time.
Yeah.
And I just shared my junk on stories, and it grew from there. But then during COVID, I actually lost my account for a couple of weeks. I got it back. But during that time, I thought, do you know what? I'm just going to start an actual, like that was when the Misfit Maw was born.
Yeah.
I'm just going to actually start an account and give it a handle and do it like properly, even though I had no real plans for it, apart from the podcast, because that started then as well. So that's how it progressed. But I was never of the view, I'll do Instagram to make it my job. I'd love for it to be my job.
Yeah.
I'd love that. That'd be amazing if that happened. But it was always a passion project and a sideline for me. That was always what I was thinking. And then the podcast became a thing during lockdown as well. And it just kind of rolled for there, snowballed. I don't know if that's the right terminology, but it just became a bit of everything from that point. And that's how it started, to show all the peachy perfect maws that isn't what life is like.
That is so true though, and I think that's why you're so relatable to so many people, because I think we all as parents and mums like beat yourself up constantly going, oh, look at them, they're doing this and I can't even
they're
get
so
to school in time without shouting at my veins.
And but the thing is, surely I would hope people know that your life isn't any different to theirs. It's we're all the same. We're all trying to drag our fucking wains out of bed to get to school in the morning and put their shoes on. We're all doing that. Like you need to, I've said this so many times, you need to try and remember that when you're scrolling social media.
100%.
Their wains are no different to yours. They're all the same.
Yeah,
definitely.
And I think that's so important that we actually have you on as well, because we talk about social media, whether it be business, whether it be like putting yourself out there in terms of doing the videos and everything else, but it's actually supporting each other and going, do you know what? This is normal life. Like this is hard. And see if I see a video and somebody's like, I've had a shit week, I've had this, I've had that, and I'm like, and so far. And you're reaching out and you're like, that. By the way, you're right. This is hard and this is whatever. And you're dealing with trolls now who it's so free to comment on
so
Dave
easy.
in the basement.
And that's actually a trend amongst the trolls. Let's troll, let's comment, let's say whatever. But do you know what I will say? And this is really for the people that maybe don't have the confidence to get out on social media. And, you're saying about the camaraderie, if you like, you go out and your people are the people that come and say, oh, that's me, that's exactly the same. You will get people troll you. You will get people unfollow you. You will get people that don't like you. See that. Just accept that as life. They're not your people. Your people are the ones that are commenting and saying, that's me, I'm the same. Take those people and hold them tight. Like, that's the people you want to stay close to. And that's how you manage no bothering about the other crap that goes on social media. I always just think to myself, well, Davey McGlumfer, you're not my people. That's it.
Well, for something you said earlier, like the whole hypnotherapy, so I went through that for public speaking as well, and I always say like how the whole time I was like under hypnosis, I kept thinking about what I was having for my lunch. I don't know if it actually worked for me, but I've always said this thing, like, so people see me as like a dead confident person, and that like I've probably done the podcast to put myself out there more to try and give myself a bit more confidence in it. But the TikTok's one thing that I just can't get. So recently I've been sending videos to Vicky, because she's obviously really good on TikTok as well. I'm like, what do you think of this? Is there anything I could be doing better? And she's like, just talk to the camera. And I've really struggled. And I've actually targeted Kelly this week as well to do the same within the company. I was like, whenever we got off the call to a client, just walk round a wee circle like outside the office and we'll talk to the camera and try and get used to it. But it's just like, I feel like hearing my voice, seeing myself, I'm criticising myself all the time.
Self-deprecation is my biggest enemy. Like I could, but what does really push me is there's loads of people out there that are probably being judged, and we're all probably being judged and whatever. But is that enough to stop me from trying? No, isn't it? It isn't. It just isn't, because I don't want to die. When you get to your 50s, you start thinking about stuff like that. I don't want to die and be reflecting on my deathbed. Should have done that. I should have tried that or whatever. And I do feel more so since I've, turned 50. I'm 52 now. I am embracing more and more that I would have shat my pants about and ran a mile 5 years ago even. But see, Eve, I wish I had been able to adopt that much earlier because who knows what would have happened. But I try not to think about that as well. But I can't stress enough, honestly, just go on and talk your crap, because it will be the stuff that you think is crap that'll do really well. And I'll say about the TK Maxx video that me and my pal Emma did that went viral. We thought that was shit. We were like, oh my God, we're pure laughing. We can't do this for laughing. And okay, we'll just put it out to Instagram and TikTok for our followers, because they'll get it, because they've heard about David McGlumfer loads of times, and that's in the video, and they'll get it. Our followers are, honest to God, you could have knocked the both of us over with a feather when that went viral. So my point is, see, the longer you, and this is so typically social media as well, see the longer you spend on a piece of content thinking that you're perfecting it and thinking, hi, that'll show the peachy perfect Maws. It flops. I always think, how did TikTok know how much time I spent on that? I always think to myself, it's always the ones that you've spent time on. And it makes me think they fucking know that I spent 2 hours on that bit of content. Do you know what I mean? So I can't honestly, and see the more mistakes that you make and the more blunders and the more that you put out there, because people love that. That makes you relatable. People love to see you like making a mistake, or, you know, because it's relatable.
Well, I suppose your one yesterday with your brolly that went upside down, like that hooked me straight away, because it's like, it's not what you expect from like a picture perfect like videos go, and you literally stand there and then your brolly goes inside out. Straight away I was like hooked watching the rest of that video. I'm like, Vicky's getting wet.
And that's it. And that's what people want to see, because who watching that's going to go, look at her, that's never happened to me. Well, you're a liar.
Exactly. Everyone's sitting relating to that. That's so true.
So is the TK Maxx video your most viral video? What was your most viral video?
On TikTok, because I'm new-ish to TikTok. Like I say, I started on Instagram. Yeah, that one is the biggest on TikTok. It's not the biggest on Instagram though. And I've not got the video that was the biggest on... No, that's a lie. There was another one that went viral with Lola that I've not got tagged. That's what I was thinking of there. No, it was the skit that I did, David and Victoria Beckham, you know, we'll ride it together. Where they both can line dance. Again, that's not fucking real life, right? Right. So Keith didn't know I was doing that video, and I just put my phone on the kitchen windowsill and I had it set up. It was Instagram that I did it on. I had it set up with the music, because I knew that was one take. He would not have fucking did that again. He wouldn't have done that at all. If I'd asked him, he wouldn't have done it. It was one take. I put the camera on the windowsill and I just pressed record and kidded on like that I was getting him to dance to, you know, Islands in the Stream. And he just he was like, he knew what was happening, but he was like, what the fuck are you doing? And then he didn't want me to post it, and I was like buckled. I was like, oh, Keith, look at it. It's so funny. People, let's just post it and see how it goes. I'll take it down if it's a problem. I never ever take anything down. And that's 2.5 million on Instagram.
It's amazing.
So that's the biggest on Instagram, followed by TK Maxx. But back to my point, that video was a shit show. Me and Keith, like, I was just pressing record and seeing what I could get out of it, and it went viral. So again, I can't stress you enough. Do not spend time on your content. I mean, I know it's different when you're running a business for your page and whatever, and you do want it to look a certain way, but even if you're doing a personal page that will still get you traction for your business, I would say just put it out. People want to see the real side of you, the real person. And that's what social media, those are the videos that do well, the real ones.
I find it hard, I don't know why, but talking about like myself, or talking about like, see, like being me, I find it more difficult than talking about like the business or deals or something we've done. Like, it's a bit like that way where if you're like, I remember I was always scared of doing presentation, but I could do drama if I was a character.
Yeah.
But see, when you're actually being yourself or talking about yourself, I find it more difficult. So, but ask me to talk about a deal and I'm like, oh yeah, I'll talk about that, fine.
So here's the thing, funnily enough as well, I'm saying I started off in social media on Instagram because of, you know, the picture perfect thing that, you know, I was so passionate about showing isn't real life. However, my very first story was a character. because, and so I totally relate to that. Like, it's almost as if you're hiding behind that character. So if I put this character out, that's not really me.
And if they don't like it, then it's not me, it's the character.
So it was Penelope Blogger. And again, I was just taking the piss out of blogging and whatever, and like put on this daft accent, and that was how it started. Even if you had the balls to do that, start with some just totally way out there wild character, and then because what will happen is one day you will go, oh, do you know what? I do want to just like be me. I just want to say what I want to say, and it'll go.
We actually met a guy at the podcast awards the other day, and he does what's it called? Bigfoot, Big Shoes.
I've seen that.
And he was actually saying similar. He left his job and then decided to be a character where it was this Bigfoot. We put the cone in the head, and that's just went viral. But he was saying the same thing. He hates being himself. But now he's this character. He's got like this confidence to be this character. I'm like, I love that, because it's a way of him probably building his own confidence, even though he has hiding as such behind it. But one day, hopefully, he'll have the
confidence
to be it. Because he was saying about coming on the podcast, he's like, "I'll come on, but I'm wearing my mask." I was like,
"Okay." He wears the big gorilla mask, doesn't he? I know who you're talking about. That's why he must be roasting in that.
Or no, if you go to the football, though, it could be a really good costume to keep you warm.
Was that the Scotland game? Wasn't it? I saw videos with him. It's interesting.
But talking about like doing like being yourself and like not putting too much effort into it, that's like when I wasn't really into social media or pictures or anything like that when I started with Emma, and me and Mhairi started doing daft videos in the office and stuff. But I had to get to the point where I was like, just do one take and don't show me it, because I would then go, look at my nose, look at my hair. I don't like that outfit. Like, so I just was like, no, we just need to roll with it. So Mhairi just used to start recording. We would do whatever we were doing, carry on, and then not show me it, because I would just be like, no, change that. And people do go, that was so funny. And I'm like, oh, was it? Like,
people, we're getting so much attraction from that. And so many people wanted to come work for us because they were like, it looks like all you do is have fun. I'm like, yeah, we do work really hard as well. It's like, I really 3 minutes snip out of the day.
I know, that's the thing with social media. That's a big thing as well. Like, you show, I'm lucky if I do, I don't know, 5 minutes is a lot for me to share in one day, right? So I'm lucky if I show 5 minutes. People think they know your whole entire life on that 5 minutes. They fill in the blanks. 9 times out of 10, it's completely wrong. I mean, I know people do get things right, but it's usually completely wrong. But see, that you're saying about no watching it, the amount of stuff that I don't watch back as well, because I am so self-critical. So same as you, and I just think, I'm just not watching it. I was there. I know what happened. Just put it out. And a lot of the time, a lot of my podcast guests will say, it's okay, did you watch it? Did you watch it back? And I'll think to myself, I don't need to watch it back. I was there. You were amazing. I was there. You know, so I think that as well, and having to watch it back would mean I need to watch myself. And I don't really want to do that. So I hardly ever watch them back. So I totally get that.
I don't really watch the podcast back either. I'll listen to them, but I don't watch them. And even sometimes listen to them, I'm like, oh, so embarrassing. Yeah. Why did I say that? Why did I do it? Listen to my voice. So like, I don't watch them.
I always, that was my advice to you, wasn't it? I was like, just post it. Post it and go. And even anybody out there, like, because my business is a state agency, and I say to people, they message me about, and I'm like, message me, ask me anything. But the one thing I'll tell you is post it. Because you'll regret it if you don't, and it gets even scarier the more the more you wait on it.
The more you focus on it, the scarier it gets. I mean, don't get me wrong, I was telling you again before we recorded that I did a skit of impersonating Chris from the Monday Club. Or did I? Or maybe it was Paul that I told that to, actually. I don't know if I told you. I was just impersonating him because there is actually a reason for that. So he had the girl on his podcast. I know, what's her name? It's no Taylor. I don't know if Taylor's quite a big TikToker as well. She's hilarious. She does the mum impersonation as well. Like, so if you got balloons for, you know, the whole balloon arch thing, the 1st of December and the elf coming back, because I have, you know, like impersonating that mum, right? And they had her on the podcast. And Chris did this thing of like choosing between people on TikTok, and he used me, one of them, like, so he did a few, and then it was, so Jilly Isabella or the Misfit Maw. How's that even a fucking, how can you even put me in the same sentence as Jilly Isabella? Right, people were messaging me about it. You know, because I can take a laugh I didn't get annoyed about it, but I messaged him and I went, Graz, that's like asking somebody to choose Jilly Isabella or Shep the dog Affy Blue Peter. he was laughing, but I mean that happened months ago, but I was like, I need to get him back. I need to do like this isn't an ongoing thing or anything like that. I don't want a big drama out of it or whatever, but I need to do something. So I then saw him doing a video and he was wearing a jacket that Keith's got. It's a beautiful jacket. I actually really like it. It's like a pale pinky lilac jacket and whatever. And I'd been thinking about doing this impersonation of him for ages. And I just kept telling myself, no, I can't. That is dangerous. Doing a impersonation of somebody, right? That is treading a fine line. But I thought, so anyway, a video popped up. He was wearing this jacket, and I was like, "Oh my God, that's a sign. That's a sign for the universe. I have to do this video." So that night, I got the jacket out of Keith's wardrobe. I got the Uggs out my cupboard. I sat my face between the Uggs with the jacket on, and I did. And he shared. He thought it was brilliant. I mean, he shared it. But what happened was. And I'm just talking about an instance where I thought, oh God, should I do this? Because that's not really my style to impersonate somebody. But I did have quite a good reason for it. You know, I was getting them back. And I sent it to my pal Emma that I did the TK Maxx video with. And she was like, oh my God, get that posted right now. Get that. Don't even think about it. So she did that as well. Get it. She thought it was hilarious. And so I did post it. And thankfully, you did like it. And so did loads of other people. So, you know, that is my point is there is situations where I will go, oh my God, I don't know. And I definitely don't want to be offensive ever to anybody, whether it's personally or on a bigger level. And I definitely don't want to deliberately upset people, albeit I know that I will upset people because they don't get the humour and that's fine, I accept that. But I don't want to upset people to a level where it's inappropriate and unacceptable. And I'm always conscious of that. So, you know, your question of, which I know is on those cards, is there anything you don't share? I don't share stuff that I think is going to deliberately upset people.
And I get that because even when I'm saying to Vicky, like, what will make good content, like for TikTok, and then a couple of times, like you've said about being controversial, but I think even James Vogel, so we had a business coach on and Vicky done some coaching with him and he's said like sometimes being controversial, but I think I get so overthink if I hurt somebody's feelings, is somebody going to care too much about that? And I probably overthink it too much. First of all, probably nobody's even watching it, and second of all, like they're probably not offended, but I just worry so much about that.
And do you know what I would say about that? Because I have posted controversial stuff, but I'll say where it's different is, see where you're very firm in your view and you're very, you know, you're on this side and you totally believe that, and in your mind you've got all the justifications that you need and require to believe it, then posting it, you should be okay with it, because even if somebody doesn't agree, that's fine. They're fine, you know, agree with you. No, everybody needs to agree with you. But you're absolutely hell-bent on what you believe and what you've said. So see, if I'm putting something out or I think about doing something and I think, do I care enough to deal with the controversy from this? If I do, it goes out, and if I don't, it doesn't, because I just think, nah, do you know what, I don't care enough. I'm not doing it. But I will do things where I do care enough, and I will say it.
That makes sense.
And again, 9 times out of 10, most people will agree with you, and the people that don't aren't your people. Let them go.
I love that. Just thinking of that. They aren't your people. Let them go.
That's so true,
Because even when we're looking at followers, I sometimes think oh great, we've gained followers of this. And I'm like, so many people have unfollowed us. Why have they unfollowed us? And I'm like, why do I? And I'm like, why do I care? And it's actually funny. I was talking to the guy. I was sports massage down. I was talking to the guy about unfollowers. He was like, what you'll find is most people that unfollow you are probably people that you went to school with, people that you thought were your friends like back in the day, that probably won't want to see you doing well. They probably won't want to see like things because they're used to seeing you going to the pub when you're, and then now you're posting stuff that they are not relating to. And then he was like, but people that are now starting to follow you, you'll probably find will be people that are now following the podcast, or people you've worked with client wise that actually want to see you doing well. So he's like, a lot of times probably people that are unfollowing you are people that you don't even really want to follow you, and a lot of times they might be unfollowing you because they are maybe unhappy with what they see in front
Yeah.
of them, but just let them follow you.
You're not fitting their agenda any longer for whatever reason. That it could be a million reasons.
Yeah.
But see, the more you're true to yourself and the more you put out that is you and who you are, you will always get more follows than unfollows. So you always just think the unfollows are just know your people. They're better going. They are better
so
going.
true. Yeah.
You know, that's what I think to myself. They're unfollowing you. Cheerio.
Absolutely.
So long.
What does your daughter think about it all?
So I hardly ever get asked about Lola, and I'm so glad that you have asked because it gives me an opportunity to say to people, Lola, unfortunately, has got the exact same personality as me. Exact same. It causes, arguments and, our clashes are quite fiery because we are the same personality. And so Lola loves a laugh as well, loves a laugh. And I know a lot of teenagers out there would be cringy and whatever. But see, even just last week, I never told her that I did the trend of like, what do we stick up our bums? And I don't stick anything up my bum, never stuck anything up my bum. And then I asked Keith, like, what was in his tool pockets? And he was so proud. His toolbox actually even brought them in. He's gone, and that's a 3-inch wrench and whatever they are. And I was like, oh my God, totally. The tears were streaming down my face, but I couldn't laugh because he couldn't know what I was doing. But I hadn't said to her that I'd done it. But I knew I wasn't worried about it. She saw it a couple of days later because she does follow me on TikTok, and she went, oh my God, man. She shared it. She shared it and everything.
That's good.
And she said, excuse me, she went, oh, Mum, that video was brilliant. So she's got the same humour as me. However, what I will say is that she does want to be on my social media less now than she ever has. So she used to, when she was younger, in the Instagram story days, she wanted to be on. We used to do, that was where I practiced getting a lift. I used to put the camera on when I was picking her up from school, and we'd do the school chats on stories. She wanted to do that. She loved it. Then she grew out of it. Yeah. She'll be 14 in a few weeks. And, she is at that cringe stage. And there are things that I do that embarrass her. Like every teenager feels about their parent.
Yeah.
But in the main, she loves the humour and the laughs as well. And if I do record something and I say to her, if I do think I need to ask her about that, because I'm not putting it out if she doesn't want it, if it's got her in it or whatever. And she says, oh, no, Mum, don't post that. I would never post it. The content doesn't matter that much to me that I need to,
I think, and as at that same point, because I've got a 15-year-old daughter, and I, like every mum in the world, think their babies are absolutely brilliant and gorgeous, right? So you want to share them in the world.
Is brilliant and gorgeous.
But Freya is the most see how you talk about that, and I think as well, like I try and get her away from that thought process of social media. So like just as an example, Freya doesn't want to talk to adults on the phone or anything or put herself out there. And we were in at the orthodontist, she was getting her braces fixed and everything. She was like, right, go and ask them for more bands at the reception. And I walked up and I was like, by the way, Freya wants to ask you something. So that she would then have to be embarrassed to come in here. And she's like, to you. But like anything that she does, or like me posting anything on my social media that includes Freya in it, will be because I've screenshotted it from her own bloody Instagram and then been like, she looks gorgeous, I'm going to post that, I'm a proud mum. And she is the most hilarious, sarcastic, like see how you're talking about the same personality. She has the same, and I think, and in the back of my head I'm thinking, she'll go viral on TikTok, I could get her, I like this could. And then the other side of I'm like, she hates this.
I wish the young team would do more of that, because it would if they were showing their real personalities, but they're all into this miming to songs and turning the camera and miming. It's fucking so boring, man. Maybe the young team like it. I don't know, but it's like,
I think it's so hard for them nowadays, though, and there's probably so much opportunity for them to be criticised. Never mind just being what you think funny. Me and Emma were talking about this yesterday actually, because my oldest is 12. He'll be 13 in January, and unfortunately, like you said, he has got exactly my humour, and I'm quite brash, offensive, sarcastic, dry, all those things that people either they like or they absolutely don't like. And that's Samuel. And I'm probably struggling with him a wee bit now because he doesn't understand boundaries as to when it's appropriate.
Aye.
Or he doesn't care.
Yeah.
So a lot of the time I'm like, I could punch your face in.
Aye. Oh,
And you
God,
go like that.
aye. Mm-hmm.
People actually just think you're a cheeky wee shit because that's not the right context of how you're behaving right now.
Yeah.
So we were talking about this and
Yeah.
she's like, yeah, but sometimes you laugh at him and encourage it, and I'm like, I can't help myself.
Sometimes you find it funny.
So he's so cheeky, and I'm like, this is so funny. But then when I'm in stress mode, like what he done yesterday was I was getting them to school, and he says, I was like, right, Sam, you hurry up, and he was like, yeah, I'm getting ready, and I was like, we're going to be late, and he's like, oh, whatever. Then he gets in the car and he's talking to me nice, and then he went, oh, I'm so late, and I went, so am I. I'm going to be late for my work because you weren't ready in time to get out, and he went, oh, I couldn't care less. But it was trying to be funny, right? But I swear I was like, you can't care less. And I was just like, that's not the right, that's not the right moment because I am in stress level and you can see that, and I'm going to punch your face.
And they do have this, but this is cool to say this. And, you know, I look cool if I say stuff like that. That's the one thing that, you know, is created by the age difference. And you're like, no, that isn't it? Fucking cool. Wrap it. That's no. And I do find myself sometimes having to explain to Lola, like, whilst you and I, like, for other stuff, might find that funny, you need to appreciate that other people, you know, and Misfit Maw probably messaged me on Messenger because that's no funny to them, you know.
Like, we were away at the caravan with my friends that have known us for years, and Samuel's, like, whole humour and all that, and I was dead, ooh, like, dead funny, low, like, I think funny, not that funny, dull, low, daft comments, but he just looks like Kevin from Kevin and Perry, always moody. And I was like, he's quite like moody and stuff, isn't he? And I was like, that's actually his humour. Like, he's actually quite happy right now. Like, if he was moody, we would all know. Like, he's actually just thinking he's been funny. Like,
and the moody thing is their humour. Like, I totally relate to that. Like, you know, they're not actually even really in a mood, but it's funny and cool to be in a mood.
And then the youngest one's like that. I'm like, brush your teeth, brush your teeth, brush your teeth. He's like, stop yapping. I'm like,
I know, stop shouting. Well, if you'd done it when I said it the first time and no the 25th time, I wouldn't be shouting.
But it is hard when they're the same personality, the same humour.
Yeah. Lola mimics something, not like intentionally, but she'll say or do something. I'm like, oh my God, I would say or do that. And I'd find myself fucking raging at it. But it's like me.
Yeah, and people say to me all the time, that's exactly like you. You would say that, you would do that. You do it to me all the time, and I'm like, I don't care because that's not me. Like, it's really funny.
Everything you say about Samuel, I'm like, yeah, that's exactly like you.
She literally is like, do you ever think about how you maybe come across then? And I'm like, no. Don't care.
Self-reflect.
Right. And I always still remind Lola that I'm the adult, because she'll say, you say that bit. And I'll say, but I'm the adult. You're the child. Newsflash, you're still a child, because they do think they're adults.
Yeah. Oh, 100%. And how does your husband deal with that? Because I can imagine, because even with Jordan, with me and Freya, he's like, oh my God, she's you. Deal with her. And I'm like, okay. How does your husband deal with you two?
I mean, there is parts of Lola's personality, like when she's really losing her shit, and I will say to Keith, that's you.
All the bad
good stuff's me.
That's how Mhairi with me.
But he does say, like, she is you or the back. He will say stuff like that. But at the same time, whilst Keith is not the same personality at all, he appreciates the humour.
Yeah.
Like, so people ask me, that's one of my most asked questions, because, you know, I do just shove videos out there and I don't, you know, look over them, and I don't, you know, I might be absolutely mortified, but I still put it out because I go, no, that's how I was feeling. That's exactly that. I'm putting it out. And people will say to me, even in the street, in Buchanan Street, I'll say, if I'm with him, they'll even turn and say, what do you think? What do you think of social media, Bobby? And he just laughs, and I think, I don't know how else to put this across. Like, Keith, whilst he's the complete opposite to us, like, we are total opposites, chalk and cheese. He doesn't want to be out there, doesn't want to be in social media, just wants to be the Glasgow working man that he is, going to his job, come home, get his dinner, go to his bed. He gets the humour.
Yeah.
Like, he gets it, you know. So if I'm, I don't know, saying something about him, I mean, I do. I don't want to say slag, because that sounds so derogatory, but I do say things that are happening in real life on social media about him. And he'll maybe come home that night. I always make sure he knows, because I always think to myself, I'm not having
Somebody else say
anybody
it to him.
saying to him,
Christy.
what about this? So the jumper, I don't know, that was another video that did really well.
I've seen that.
So that video is about 3 or 4 years old, right? And it was a brand new jumper at Christmas time. I did get it out of TK Maxx, but it was a good TK Maxx find. Like one of them where I think it maybe started off at 120 quid and I got it for 60 quid. Something like that, right? I don't remember exactly. And it was beautiful. And he wore it on the Saturday. I was like, oh, I really like this. You know that way you're so chuffed when you get one of those TK Maxx finds. You know the ones, I mean, no just something that's a wee bit cheaper, whatever, something that was just fucking banging. And you've got it on, you're going, oh,
Fancy myself.
beautiful, isn't it? This is beautiful. And he put it in the wash. Like, so I blame him. Just fucked it in the washing basket. I am not here to separate what, and I'm no hand washing anything. You know, like garments and whatever. He put it in the wash and I put it in the washing machine. But not only that, I put it straight into the tumble dryer after the washing machine. It didn't even shrink. It melted. it just melted into this tiny wee
Mhairi.
doll's jumper. And I was like, oh my God. Because I was so stressed about it because I knew how much he loved it. And I just shared the whole entire thing to the point where, so he didn't know any of this. I'd hidden it, none of this. And then I thought, nah, I'm going to have to come clean with this. I can't live with this.
No.
So I videoed it. It was a Friday night. And I said, like, I'm just going to come clean with this jumper. And I just held my phone and took the jumper down to the kitchen and, you know, like put it on the table. And he was like that. You seen him looking at the jumper. And like, he was like, you're a fucking idiot. Right? Or something along these lines, swearing and whatever. And I could not move for laughing. Like, I just thought it was totally hilarious how he reacted and whatever. And all of that was caught on camera. But see that's what Keith, as much as he didn't want that to happen, right? All of that's what he expects from me. Like, he just knows I'm a dafty. I do stupid things like that. I share it on social media.
He's not shocked.
He wasn't shocked at all. After 19 years, I think he gets the humour. He gets who I am. He knows who I am. And that's really it. He knows. So what Keith thinks is, he probably wishes that he married one of the wives that sits at home with a penny on cooking dinner.
I think they all do.
None of us are really that.
Nah. I don't think this world
I was
is,
laughing there though because I'm like, I am the least domesticated person ever. And I don't think I'd put a woolly jumper in the tumble dryer, Mhairi.
I wasn't even, no, but that's my point, right? I wasn't even aware
That it was
that
in
it was there.
Yeah.
I just fucked it in with the rest of the lights. I didn't
At least you're separate ways.
I didn't acknowledge it was the beautiful TK Maxx jumper.
God.
I've done it about 4 times with Jordan's Reese jumpers, and he's like, I'll take them out, my mum. I'm like, you're bare.
I keep saying, just don't put them in the washing. You don't want anything ruined.
no.
Don't put it in.
Aye.
Or date yourself. So that's the rules that we've got. So he gets the humour.
Yeah.
Again, I've always got a line. I don't
Yeah.
share absolutely everything. I don't share specifics about Lola's life or specifics about Keith's life because that's their stories to share. So I only share stories about them when it involves me.
Yeah.
Which
I think one of the most iconic things that I follow you for is, and I love this with anybody, so putting that disclaimer out there, is when somebody actually uses their platform to talk about real issues.
yeah.
And one of yours that I have been really following you closely for is the way you've been talking about dealing with your alopecia. So can you tell everybody, like, obviously your journey with that?
Yeah. And I am really passionate about talking about real life things. And when that happened, I had to take a few days to actually absorb it. That was, I'm getting goosebumps even saying that because it's taken me right back to the moment where, you know, the word alopecia was said and I just, you know, the shock level is off the scale. And even the first video that I did, I almost like blurted it out and went, and I was still really, emotions were still really high. It affects you so deeply that I just blurted it out and went, I don't know if I'll be talking about this. I don't know if I can talk about it. I just don't know, but I just want everybody to know because I'm going to be looking a wee bit different because I went down the wig route. And I just, you know, it was that whole thing where, and I do this, envisage the group chats. That's how I refer to it, trolls. Envisage the group chats and seen the Misfit Maws here and whatever. And I just wanted to be the person that was saying it first.
Yeah.
So then go and talk about it. Oh, sorry. Then go and talk about it in your group chat. But I'm the one that said it. So that's fine. So when I first went out, I didn't know if I was going to talk about it. But as with everything in my life, as the days went past, I actually felt like it was suffocating me.
Yeah.
So I am an oversharer. And I just felt like, even if it makes me feel uncomfortable, which it did, I still need to talk about this because it is going to suffocate me if I don't. And that's really why I started talking about it and sharing it. And the big, huge bald patch that I had at the top, the crown of my head, shared all that. There was nothing that I was hiding. And the whole going to get the wigs and whatever. And the number of people that reached out to me both on Instagram and TikTok comments that shared their stories or whatever. And people that I know personally that I did not know had alopecia because they either don't talk about it, or the systems or the alternatives that they're using are so good that you wouldn't know. And they are so good. And I don't know, there is definitely, what I will say though, is there is still a stigma attached to wigs and, you know, that type of thing, which is, I find really, now that I've been through it, bizarre, because loads and loads of people wear extensions.
Yeah.
And it's the same.
It's
the same. But there is a stigma attached to it. And the reason I know that is because some people would say, why are you wearing a wig? It's not that bad. Like, and it's not that bad is the problem with what you're saying. The problem is, why are you wearing a wig? You're saying it like
in a derogatory way.
What is wrong with wearing a wig?
One of the things, and this is probably, oh sorry, I've got the lurgy. One of the things that I loved when I was watching your stories is, and I've been following this for quite some time, but back in 2017 I was diagnosed with cervical cancer. I made a full recovery. I had to go through the hysterectomy, but I was lucky enough, I say this, lucky enough that I never had chemotherapy or radiotherapy because of where it was staged at. And one of the nurses, so it was like, in this ward that you were in, there was me who was 27 and there was like older women in there. And when I say older, they were quite clearly in their 60s and later, and we were all in for the same thing. And the nurse at the time came over to me and she said, you know, it's really important, because I never told anybody when I was going through all of this. She was like, it's really important that younger people do talk about it because everybody thinks it's not going to happen to me. She was like, but the problem is younger people are refusing treatment. And I went, how do you mean? It could save their life. And she was like that. But if you tell a woman that she's going to lose her hair through chemotherapy, she was like, it's the most, she was like, she could be cut open and but she can hide that. She can't hide the fact that she's going to lose her hair. And it struck a chord with me. And I was like, women, whilst we use our hair for so much, like we hide behind it, we do everything. Well, like our hair is our sort of, what do you call it? Like our crown, yeah, absolutely. And I didn't think of it at the time that somebody would refuse treatment because they were going to lose their hair, but that was a big thing. And she said it's particularly younger women. So I always think, well, if you've got a platform and you talk about that and show people this is normal, this is how I deal with it. And then you've got the other people that use the hair systems and everything else, then so many more people won't have that same crushing feeling that they when they're getting that diagnosis.
As you said, Jill, like the way that, I don't know if it's classed as technology but like the products that's available now, like you would never be able to tell, like, and even, I hope you don't mind me saying Vicky, but obviously you with your extensions, I'm going to get the same extension. And I actually went into Vicky's hairdresser and said, I just want to look like Vicky. But you would never know, and like, and it's like people have, obviously, as you're like, I went for a test for perimenopause the other day, and one of the biggest things I've said is I'm losing so much hair, like but straight away I thought, well, lucky enough there is so much great products out there now that if I am losing hair, then I know that I could get really good extensions, and you can't see them in the wigs that you see. The amount of people that tell me I'm wearing a wig and I would never know in a million years.
And people would say that to me, like, this is my hair. Because, and it's important that I say this as well, because there will be people watching that have either, you know, got alopecia or hair loss or whatever themselves, and they want to know what happened. So I've still got my wigs, but once you're diagnosed with something like that, because it's an autoimmune, I'm sure, you know, condition, you've always got it. So I'm always now at risk of my hair falling out. They did say it was due to stress. There was a stressful thing that happened in my life not long before it happened, and I do think, well, that's the only thing. If it is stress, because they do blame everything in stress, there is that as well. But anyway, putting all that aside, I was referred by my GP to dermatology in Monklands, and I had 4 rounds steroid injections straight into my scalp. And thankfully, touch wood, my hair is still, even now, sprouting all over the place. Thank God it worked for me. It doesn't.
All over the place.
It is. It's sticking out everywhere. I did actually mean to say that before we started. I probably look as if I've, you know, got my finger in a socket because all the wee hairs, the lights pick it up and whatever. But it's, thankfully, it has worked for me. It doesn't work for everybody. That's all I did. People ask me about products. And I don't like to say too much because I don't want to upset people and I don't want it affecting businesses or whatever. But see, when you really, really do your research and dig into hair products and whatever, hair products will help make your hair look thicker and look more. And I do use those products. However, hair loss and alopecia specifically is a skin problem. It's your skin that's the problem. So there really isn't very much at all out there product-wise that you put directly onto your hair that's going to make that skin problem better. Right? That's all I'm saying. But there's, like I say, great products that make your hair look and feel nice. And that's all like I use now. I look for the stuff that works for me, and not everything works for everybody. But when people ask me, can you recommend products? I always just go, no, really, because it was the injections that worked for me. But I will tell you what I use, just because people want to know that.
Absolutely. And I think that's the message is, this is what works for me. But this actually was the result of why my hair is sort of returned.
Grew back. And I worry. Don't worry, because try not to worry, because that was the whole point. Apparently it happened in the first place. But I try to stay focused on the good stuff and what's working and whatever and being positive. But I could wake up any day, and even sometimes when I look at my hair and go, is that a bald patch? No, just because you're so paranoid. That feeling that I get again, that I got initially, it is horrible. It's a horrible feeling, having your hair. And that's another reason that I do talk about it, because I get it. I know what people feel like when that happens. It's just, you don't even realise how precious and special your hair is to you. Till something like that happens.
Your face.
The actual act of blow drying and styling your hair and just enjoying doing it, you take that for granted until something like that happens to you. And then every time I'm blow drying my hair, I'm like, I'm so grateful I can blow dry my hair, because obviously it's my hair now and I can get it coloured now and all of that. But for a year, I wasn't able to do that. It took a year to grow back. So I've still got my wigs. And I've got a wig that looks like this and people never know that it's a wig. But I've also got the pure curly Dolly Parton one, which I love. I love that wig. I know, I love it. But it's taking a few pelters, that wig. But I've still got that and I still love it. And I've got another one. I've got 3 wigs actually.
There's a girl in Glasgow that I follow that makes wigs. But like, she puts them on. She's also a makeup artist as well, right? So whatever wig she wears, she looks amazing. And her makeup's gorgeous and everything else, and I'm like, oh my god, that makes me want to dye my hair red, that makes me want to dye my hair blonde.
It's not Michelle, is it? For Mimo Bigs, no?
No, Kelly Ann, I think her name is.
No, I don't know her. Michelle doesn't bake them anyway, but she's got her own wig business.
And I just think, like, but then again, you said about that, like, obviously people asking you, like, why are you wearing wigs? I think I see more of it that people are more acceptable to people wearing wigs. I would like to think so, but I'm not dealing with it direct.
I'd say probably yes. In general, it's like everything. There's always one or two though. There's always that one that's got something to say that's negative or whatever.
Wee Nancy.
So to finish off then, if you were to do like a dream collab with anyone, who would you want to do it with?
Right, so there's a whole big story to like my answer to that. I don't really dream about collaborations because I've had my fingers burnt with collaborations so much in the past, and I'm now of the view I'm going to do things, and it's if I've instigated it or if I've created it or whatever. That said, though, to answer your question, I love the whole comedy side of things, which we haven't really talked about, and it's fine. But if somebody came along that is a known like comedy person and wanted to, I wouldn't go looking for it though, because again, the universe will bring to me whatever I have to have. But if they came along, I would do something like that. Love to be involved in writing comedy like with somebody. Love that. But again, it's, you know, because I'm my own worst enemy. It's not something I go looking for or trying to find or whatever. But if something like that came along, I'd love an opportunity like that.
I hoped you were going to say that, because I actually was thinking, I was like, you should do like, and I don't know if you could put it out there because you're talking about your hypnotherapy, about stand-up comedy.
People say to me about stand-up all the time. I always think, nah, I couldn't do that. I couldn't. Like, my comedy's just what rolls off the tongue, what I'm thinking at the time. Comedy
Planned
needs
comedy.
to be very planned. You've got your script, you know exactly what you're saying and blah, blah, blah. I don't know if I'm capable of that. That's the God's honest truth.
I think you would be really good in like still game type idea.
Or like Two Doors Down.
Like I'd be right up for on the telly acting, whatever. I
think you'd be great
stories.
at that.
I can do that, right? I'm not qualified, but I can act. So I'd love to do something like that, but it would only be if it came along. I don't go looking for it or trying to get it.
So if any writers out there that are needing anybody for Two Doors Down, Still Game,
I'd love to
Chewing
sit
the Fat.
in a group like and just brainstorm ideas for something like that. I'd love
you'd
to
be
do that.
great.
I work better with other people when it's brainstorming.
Well,
like
Gary
comedy
Fawlds,
as well.
he's doing his. We're going to see that at the Wizard of Oz. That's at the Hydro, the Panto, and he's writing. He got the what's it called when you get the ability to write it this year. And he was.
I don't know what it's called, but I know what you mean.
But I know that last time he was on it, and he had to go with whatever they were telling him to. But this time he got free will to
write
go
Write
with
it himself.
Yeah.
See that, like sitting with somebody like Gary Fawlds, I think that's when the best of me comes out. Like I know that I'll work better when it's stuff like that with somebody else.
Aye.
Yeah.
Oh, you would be brilliant.
Well,
We'll hook
Gary
you up with
Fawlds,
Gary.
come on, Gary.
I know Gary as well. I do know.
Thank you so much for coming on. It's been amazing to have you. And if you want to give your socials a wee plug so that people can give you a like and follow if they don't.
Yeah. Thank you so much for having me. And it's just Mhairi or the Misfit Maw on all the social. Well, we'll say all the socials. Really, just Instagram and TikTok are my main ones. Yes.
Amazing.
Thank you so much. It's been
We have loved it.
Love chatting to you.
If you have enjoyed this episode, then please like and subscribe on YouTube.
And don't forget to leave us a 5-star review on Spotify.
Bye.
I ain't right, got a bad streak on my